Brandon Peters at quarterback. Rolls out. Into the end zone. It is caught. Casey Washington's got it. Illinois pulled off the upset.
Yo, what's up? Avian here, and today we're going to compare my rankings to the AP rankings and explain why I got the teams in the place that I do against how the AP does it. Let's get right into the video. Alright, so let's get started. I got Georgia at number 1. They're the best complete team in the country. There's nothing really much to say. They had a bye week. They didn't play. So let's get on to the next one. I have Ohio State at number 2. They played Indiana this weekend. They won that game 54-7. They looked really good. This offense is unstoppable. And I'm sorry, but they have the best offense in the country. Their defense is getting better. They only allowed 7 points to Indiana. And honestly, something that Ohio State does game in and game out, they seem to let up like a touchdown or a field goal on their first drive, and then they'll never allow more points. It's kind of a weird dynamic, but it's interesting. And that's why I have them at number 2 above Cincinnati, which we're going to get into in a second. Cincinnati, they actually played Navy this weekend. They won that game 27-20, and honestly, they did not look good in this game. Navy is not a good team. They're 1-5, and Cincinnati obviously undefeated, and they just didn't play that well. And I think Ohio State would beat them, and honestly, I think Alabama would beat them too. It's just, I think Cincinnati has more of a shot, and they match up better with Alabama because Alabama's kind of similar. You know what I mean? Their offense and defense are closer to each other, and Ohio State's offense is just insane, but their defense is a little worse than Alabama's right now. But we're not going to know what that's going to be at the end of the year. So that's why I have my rankings the way they are. And after that, we're going to get right into who Alabama played. They played Tennessee at home. They won that game 52-24. It did not look this close. I mean, that far away the entire game, because at the beginning, Tennessee was hanging tough with Alabama the entire game all the way up to the fourth quarter, and they played them very good. And in the fourth quarter, they made some mistakes, and Alabama started to go crazy. But this game was a lot closer than it was. And right after Alabama, I have Michigan. Michigan played Northwestern. They won their game 33-7. They could have won this game by more points, but their defense played very well. Their offense was decent. Their running game with Corum and Haskins really showed out in this game. And then after Michigan, I have Oklahoma. Yes, I have Oklahoma at 6. Now, no one crucify me, but they only beat Kansas 35-23. Yes, Kansas. And they were losing 10-0 at halftime. And this team, regardless if Spencer Rattler is playing or Caleb Williams, they just cannot get it done. I mean, the game against TCU, it looked like it was getting figured out more. But this game kind of just proved that their defense is not there, which we thought they would be. And their offense is very inconsistent. And if they have a bad day, they are going to get blown out at the end of this year by either Baylor, Iowa State, Oklahoma State, or whoever they play it in the Big 12 championship. And I don't see them making the playoff. I do see if they lose one game, they're not going to be in the playoff. So they have to win out, and I don't think that they're going to beat one of those teams. So I'm sorry. I had to put Oklahoma at 6 because of that. All right, now that we got through the top 6, which is the most controversial, I'm going to go a little bit faster with all the other teams like Michigan State. They had a bye week, but that's why I have them at 7. And at 8, I have Oregon. Oregon survived UCLA in the Rose Bowl. They won that game 34-31. It was a very good game. Thibodeau played the whole time. It was good to see. And then after that, I have Ole Miss. Ole Miss was number 9, and they ended up beating LSU 31-17. Their offense played decent in this game, especially in the second half. LSU actually played very tough in the first half, but the second half, Lane Kiffin and their team just they did what they do, and they pulled away and they won this game. And then at 10, to round out the top 10, I have Iowa. Iowa didn't play. They'll be able to bounce back and hopefully win the rest of their games because they don't really have a tough schedule after the games they did play, even though Purdue wasn't supposed to be a tough game and they still lost. I think they're going to win out, and that's why I got them at number 10. Then we got Notre Dame at 11. They beat USC in their game. They actually didn't look too bad in this game, or USC didn't look that good, let's be honest. But Notre Dame, they won their rivalry, so give them props. And then after that, I have Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State, they played Iowa State. They're actually an underdog as the 8th ranked team in the country to the Cyclones, which were unranked, and they were -7, which is kind of crazy to me, but Iowa State won this game, and they won it 24-21 on a controversial last play. I know it was a tough call to make, but he definitely got the line to gain on that 4th down. So Oklahoma State should have still been in this game and either tied it up or they could have won on that last drive. So that's why I only dropped them 4 spots, because they really didn't deserve to lose that game. And then after that, we have Wake Forest, and they had a shootout with Army. And I think, what was the score of this game? It was 70-56. 70-56. That is insane. Like, do any of these ACC teams play any defense? Because letting Army score 56 is kind of crazy to me. I don't know how long Wake Forest is going to be able to stay undefeated, but hey, we'll see. We'll see. Then number 14, I have Texas A&M. Texas A&M plays South Carolina. They won that game 44-14. They look good in this game. South Carolina sucks. So that's why I have them there. And then after that, we have Kentucky. Kentucky at 15. I'm pretty sure they had a bye week. They didn't play anybody, but their only losses to Georgia, and everyone's lost to Georgia, so I didn't really drop them that far. I still think they would beat any of the teams behind them. So yeah, we got Baylor after that. Baylor ended up playing no one as well this week. And after that, we have SMU. SMU played Tulane on Thursday. Now, I kind of think these Thursday games are weird for college, but hey, it is what it is. They beat Tulane 55-26, still undefeated. That's why I have them at this spot. And then after them, I have Penn State. Obviously, Penn State, they lost to Illinois. I cannot believe that they lost to Illinois in 9 overtimes, the most overtimes in college football history. They lost this game 20-18 off that last play. And it's just kind of surreal that they lost that game. Even with Sean Clifford hurt, I still think they should have won by at least a couple touchdowns. So there's no excuse for Penn State. Even though they were probably looking forward to Ohio State, and they didn't try this game as much as they should have, and they got caught slacking. And they ended up losing to the worst team in the Big Ten. So that game next week definitely isn't going to mean as much as it was going to before, because now they have 2 losses in Big Ten play. Ohio State has 0, so they'd have to lose 2 times, and Penn State would have to win this game. So it's looking very bleak for Penn State. But after them, I have Pitt. Pitt, I got the 19 spot. They hosted Clemson, and they won this game 27-17. Now, Pitt has kind of been a thorn in Clemson's side like the past few years. I know they lost that 1 year with Deshaun Watson off that game-winning field goal, that year that they won the national championship, which is kind of crazy that Pitt has been the only team to beat Clemson 2 times, being unranked like that. So it's pretty cool to see. It's pretty cool to see. And then after that, we have Auburn. They're going to round out the top 20, so I have them at 20. And they did not play this weekend, so let's just move right on. We have Iowa State getting back into the rankings after their win against Oklahoma State. Again, 24-21 off that last play. Controversial, yada, yada, yada. After that, we have San Diego State. Now, San Diego State, they haven't really looked particularly good in my eyes, but nonetheless, they keep winning. They beat Air Force 20-14. Again, didn't look really good in this game, but it is what it is. And after them at 23, I have University of Texas San Antonio. They actually played Louisiana Tech, and I thought this game was going to be way more competitive, but they actually won this game 45-16. UTSA is looking really good, so watch out for them. It's kind of insane how they've been playing. And the fact that they're undefeated is also equally insane. And then we have a new team in the top 25, and that's the Houston Cougars. I have them at 24. They beat East Carolina 31-24. They're winning in this game 24-10, but they kind of let East Carolina come back, but they did end up winning the game. I think that they are a top 25 team over like BYU and other teams like that. But yeah, let's move on to the next team. I have the Chanticleers right back in the 25th spot. They actually lost to Appalachian State on Wednesday. A Wednesday game, a Thursday game. I don't know why they play these games on those days, but nonetheless, they lost 30-27. It was a very close game. Appalachian State isn't as good as they usually are, but they only lost by 3, so I moved them back from, I think, 13-25, and I think that's very respectable. But now I'm going to show you guys how the AP has it, and then we're going to talk about that a little bit. So here it is. You see the AP. They still have Cincinnati number 2 even after that poor showing. They did have Alabama leap Oklahoma, and they kind of kept Ohio State in the same spot, which again I don't agree with. After that, it's kind of similar the entire way all the way to the end. They did actually put BYU back in the top 25 instead of Houston. So I don't really agree with that, but Again, it is what it is. That's how the AP is. We get the college football playoff committee to do their top 25 next Tuesday. So I'm very excited for that. Alright guys, so that's going to be the end of the video. I'm going to put my predictions record up on the screen. I know I did make another video about guessing this week's teams, but I'm going to get that video done in a day or two. And this is my prediction record for the whole season so far. I'm 18-6, and honestly, I think it's pretty good. I think I've been doing a decent job calling these games. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in that next video. Have a good one. Peace.